Hey everybody, welcome to Journey Through the Generations. And today's episode, we've been talking about doing this for a couple of years now.
Yes.
One of the things that for me, when I started researching, I got really mad that that everything costs something to research. You know what I'm saying?
Genealogy can be expensive.
Yes, and I was really upset about it. And then I said, well, maybe we should do an episode where we talk about, being able to research your family history on a budget.
Which I think is hilarious because I have been researching for over 10 years and you never, ever thought it was expensive.
That's not true because I remember when you ordered some documents from the state or something and you told me it cost like 10 cents a page and it was like 60 pages or something ridiculous. And I go, why?
Okay, that's
so
true.
You remember that?
I do remember that.
Okay, so anyway, our topic today, if you couldn't tell already, is researching on a budget. So
which is important because if this is something that you're going to be doing for a long time, which genealogy is usually something that you do consistently forever, you want to make sure that you're saving money as you go on.
And not everybody just has the money like that to be spending on this. And it may scare some people away. And
absolutely,
we definitely don't want to do that. So we're going to give you some tips, some resources, things to think about when you are researching to help keep you, if you're on the budget, kind of to help you be able to save some money or research. I don't think you'll be able to get away from paying nothing if you decide to get deep into your research, but we can give you some tips to help.
Let's just say I'm one of those people, no matter what I'm doing, I'm always looking for a coupon code, a coupon, a discount. I am very frugal in my real life outside of genealogy. And so I just brought that with me in my research. And that has helped me save a lot of money.
Yep. So let's start here. The thing that we talk about all the time, and it's always free, is talking to your family members.
No, absolutely.
The ones that are still with us and still able to talk with you about things. That is, in my opinion, one of the very first things that you do is start having conversations with those that are still able to speak with you.
Right, because
that's always free.
Because those conversations are going to get you further in your research. Yep. They're going to give you more information about your family to be able to research at a later date. You'll know, marriage dates, places where they live, churches that they attended, military, anything like that. So that's going to advance your research. And all you had to do was make a phone call or stop somewhere when you were visiting your family.
Yep. And it may give you some names too that at the moment it just seems like, oh, well, I don't know who that person is. No, write that person's name down because as you're researching, you're going to go, oh, I remember.
I remember that name.
My dad told me that name. Mm-hmm. It happened to me.
Yes.
And so you definitely want to keep track of, what they're telling you and write it down, record it, do whatever you can. Because I hate that I never recorded my dad telling me all this stuff and he's still with us. So I need to record because he's of the age where he tells the same stories over and over. So,
but they're good stories.
So I know I'm going to get the information I need.
Again, yeah.
But yeah, definitely do that.
Oh, yeah.
So what you got?
I have libraries and repositories. When I say that, you just never know, no matter where you live, if you have a library in your city, they have some sort of genealogy information, whether it's just the Basics Genealogy for Dummies book. They have something there. But if you live in a big city or near a college or a university, those libraries often have a lot of information, not only about that particular area and state, but usually information about the states around them as well. And if you live again in a capital city, you can always go to the state archives. Their information there is free. They have all of this state census for that state, tax records, anything that has to do with that state, you can find at the state archives for every county in that state. And the only thing you have to pay for is parking. So, and printing if you want to print, but just take a thumb drive and save everything.
Yep, that's a good one. I'm going to give you a website that's free. It's totally free. And that's familysearch.org. It is totally free. You can find all kinds of records on there. Census records, military, immigration records. You can build your own family tree. Yep. On the website. They have opportunities for you to help index documents and names and things. They help put on the largest genealogy conference in Earth. The world. Yes. Yeah, they are. So they do a lot of things. It's the largest free genealogy website in the world as well. It's sponsored by the Latter-day Saints. So their home base is in Salt Lake City, Utah, which we've been to. The Family History Library there in Salt Lake City. If you ever in Salt Lake City, I would recommend that you go to the Family History Library. Yes. And to get in is free. They have people there who can help you with any questions you have, show you where books are and microfilm. It's just so much that Family Search does, and it's all free. So it's definitely a must do.
Oh, absolutely. And piggybacking off of that, maybe you can't get to Utah, but you may have a family history center close to you that's also sponsored by the Latter-day Saints, and it's a smaller entity than the Family History Library. They have microfilm, usually about that community, that county. But you also have to remember that they were during a time when you could actually request microfilm from the Family History Library. You can't do that any longer. So if there was a researcher there that requested a lot of microfilm, then their microfilm collection is going to be bigger. It just depends on what was needed in that community. But they have access to Family Search, obviously. They have access to Ancestry, Fold3, newspaper sites online. So you can go and do not only research there on microfilm and books, but you can also utilize some of the websites that you would normally have to pay for on your own that you could be able to use at the Family History Center for free. So just look that up, Family History Center in your area. And I mean, their hours are usually limited. So you'll just have to make sure that you can go when they're open, because they're not open all the time like a regular library, because they are run by volunteers. But it's an excellent resource. And again, it's completely free.
All right. So I think one important thing, especially for African American researchers or people who may be researching African American families, is the Freedmen's Bureau.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you haven't heard of the Freedmen's Bureau and what it is, but it was something that was focused on the transition of people from being enslaved to being free. So it was after the Civil War. And so along with that came documents.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
So there were a ton of documents. There were pension records and wills and, all this different stuff, but it wasn't archived anywhere. And so there's this big undertaking to help get a lot of that stuff transcribed and into a search repository for people to search. But if you want to go and research or search those documents, you can go to the National Archives. And and look through the Freedmen's Bureau papers, it's a treasure trove of information. It could be a lot of different things. It's of course, southern states for the most part. And so definitely look at the Freedmen's Bureau if you're having a hard time finding particular information. You never know, you might find something. Especially with if you're looking for like enslavers' names or something like that. You never know when you might run across a will or something that names your relative or the enslaver of your relative.
Yeah,
so
that would be a good thing. Next on my list is something that is not free, but it's going to be how to get those sales and discounts. And the best time to do that is during holidays, particularly right around Thanksgiving and Christmas. Those have a lot of discount codes, websites, the Ancestry, the Fold3s, the big DNA companies, things like that. They always have sales during that time. But you also want to remember the newspaper.com and the genealogy banks where they have newspapers. They often have sales or free trials during other holidays like the Memorial Day, President's Day, Veterans Day. Those type of times you can also find sales, but on other things like Fold3, you'll be able to get free access to Fold3. That's a military website during any military holiday, D-Day, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, any of those, they're going to have a free weekend during that holiday where you can go in and search records for free, because ultimately, usually you have to pay to be able to use Fold3. So my suggestion is to follow those websites on social media. That's usually when they announce those, or sign up for their email list, and you'll get an email about when they have a discount code or they actually have a free weekend available and things like that. And that goes for DNA test, genetic DNA testing kits as well.
Yep. And so you definitely want to keep an eye out for those, because you can save some money on those. And some of those sites like Ancestry, they have those free trials like you mentioned, and you can get like 14 days. So I would recommend that. And I think I said this before in the previous podcast, is like, if there's like a week or two where that you don't have much of anything going on, and you can sit down and actually research every night after work or whatever it is, do your free trial at that point, so that you can take advantage of every day of the 14 days that you possibly can. Because if you don't, they're going to hit your credit card on day 15.
Oh, yes.
Guaranteed.
Yes,
and
you
can cancel it on day 14.
Yes.
But you also got to remember, if you've already used a free trial, or you've purchased a membership, they don't give you another free trial. So everything after that, you got to pay full price. So you got to make sure that you watch out for those. I think that's really important to do. So that's good information. One of the things that I want to bring up is using Find a Grave.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't hear a lot of information out there about Find a Grave. And I know that there's some like conflict out there with people, because there are people who maybe put somebody's information on there, but it's not one of their relatives. And, there's this battle going back and forth between, who owns the information and who doesn't. Whatever the case may be, Find a Grave is a real good resource to find the graves of people who have passed away. And it could be something that you find of a relative that you're missing. Because there are Find a Grave, they're not employees, but they're contributors that go out and they transcribe, or not transcribe, they get the information out of cemeteries, who's buried there, the dates and all that stuff. They take a picture of the marker, and they upload it to the website. So, you just never know if, it's, if, you have a relatives in there that you just didn't know about. And
Right.
so, and sometimes, other than photos, they may have a full obituary in there.
Yes.
I looked up one of my great aunts, and her full obituary was listed on Find a Grave, which I already had, but what if I didn't have it? So now I got all her information, and so I think Find a Grave is a real good site to just search.
Yeah.
Just throw the name in there and just see what happens.
And sometimes they have them, depending on who the contributor is, they will have the family members buried next to them associated with that person you may have looked up. So you could find some other information, other names when you do it. Find a Grave is an excellent resource. I love it. And it is free.
Yep. And just think about that. You're getting a person's name, you're getting a person's birth date, you're getting a person, for the most part, depending on stuff,
right?
Some markers are hard to see, maybe dirty or whatever, but you're getting a birth date, you're getting a death date, you're getting a cemetery name, you're getting a cemetery location, and you may be getting important family information in the obituary.
Right.
So
and
think about that. Put that on your list.
And especially if this is a cemetery of which you don't live around, or you're not going to that city or state anytime soon, you could, search family. You can throughout the whole United States and not have to leave your house.
Absolutely. What you got next?
Next on my list is something that I do when we travel. When we travel, I try to go to different libraries and repositories when I'm away. So I build in time to research during our vacation. So one year we went to Washington, D.C., and I built in time to be able to go to the National Archives. So I didn't necessarily I was taking a trip, but it was a family trip, but I made time to go to the National Archives while I was already in D.C.
Which is totally true. She is absolutely right on that. And it even got to the point to where I said, I don't remember when it was and where we went, but I said, no research.
I don't remember where we went.
Can we just vacation and have a good time? No research.
But that was a good time for me.
I know, I understand that, but that's not for everybody.
Correct.
So all the time.
But
so
what do I
it's
do
like,
though?
No museums, no, history, no research, just fun.
But what do I do when I build my time up? That's a time for you to do something that you want to do that I might not necessarily be interested in. And so you're able to do whatever that is while I'm researching. So,
I wish this was a video so y'all could see my face.
So you've never done that? You've never gone off and done something else while I'm researching?
I don't think so.
You went to the Empire State Building.
When was that?
When we were in New York.
I went to go get our photos.
That was on your list of things to do.
Girl, gone somewhere. Okay. Whatever. Keep on going.
So I'm just saying that would be a good opportunity for you to be able to go to a different library, or if you're in an area where you have family, to find that cemetery that you've been wanting to go to. Maybe you can't find them on Find a Grave, and you actually need to go to the cemetery. If you're going to be in, like we went to Chicago on a family trip, and I built in time for us to go to the cemetery to look for some of my family members. So it's not necessarily free, but it's saving money because you're in that city doing other things, and you can build time to do some of your research while you're there.
Yeah, and just so no one is getting it twisted out there, I didn't mind doing those things. I enjoyed going to museums and whatever, but just that one time I didn't want to do that. So,
and we built a trip around just relaxing, and we picked a place where there was nowhere for me to go research, and that I did not have family from, so there was no temptation there.
Yeah. So the next thing I have on my list is joining a local Ancestry Society or Historical Society, or even a national one, if you can find one. There are dues involved with a lot of them. They tend to be cheaper, so you're not paying a lot of money, but you are being able to be involved in meetings and classes and workshops and things like that. And given the time we're in right now, a lot of that stuff may be in person, but it's also virtual.
Oh, yeah.
And so you, even if you're not there in person, you can do it. So if for example, the county that you're looking for in the state is Jackson County in Alabama, and you don't live there, become a member of that society in Jackson County if they have one, and be a member there. That's and that'll help you. And you never know, you might have some family who's a member too.
Right,
so.
you just never know what you'll find.
Yep, you never know. So I would recommend you do that for sure.
My next one is to utilize social media. That's
a good one.
Probably already have a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, things like that. Utilize that to be able to research by joining genealogy groups in specific cities, kind of like what you said about the societies. Social media has all kind of specialized genealogy groups. Most of them are closed, so you only are navigating with those people in that group, not the whole wide world. But it can be a really good use of if you have a stumbling block, a roadblock, anything like that. Those are the type of people that would be able to help you get through that, give you new ideas. Like you said earlier, if you can't read some handwriting, take a picture of it, post it on that social media group. They'll be able to help you out. And of course, social media is free, so you can be able to utilize it as much as you want.
And that's real good because you're in a group with like-minded people, and so and it's more niche than your just overall friends group, because if you have a friends list of 400 people, only 5 are gonna be interested in what you're doing. Right. So you get it in front of hundreds more people in a group. That's probably the best way to go. So yeah, and definitely do that.
And in those groups, you'll be able to find out about sales and discounts, free genealogy workshops, virtual workshops, classes, things like that. Also, to be able to help you, grow your craft.
Yeah. I don't have anything else. You have anything else?
No, that was my last one.
Okay, cool. So this list is not all inclusive. Oh. There are a ton of other ways that you can find information, find it out for free. I did just think of something, the biggest one,
which is
not the biggest one, but the one that I talk about all the time.
No.
Google is your friend.
Absolutely.
Use Google.
Yes.
Use Google.
You never know. You can find your family in a book.
You never know.
You just never know. I've done that.
Look, there's a lot of information on Google, and you're not going to find everything about your family on Google. Some of that stuff is protected behind paywalls. It's government information. You're just not going to find all of it. But you can find some things, and you search for books, you can search in maps, you can just do general searches. I mean, it's a lot of other things that you can do. So I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because we can go through
right. But I will say that I've had some of my own relatives find me through my blog by Googling Newport, Arkansas or WF Branch, and they find my blog. So you just never know what you can find.
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, this list is not all inclusive. You can, use a lot of different other resources that are free or that are, on the cheap side for you to be able to research your family. I encourage you to find those, to do those, and continue searching for your family. I hope this information helped.
Oh, absolutely. And let us know some of your money saving tips on how you have saved money while you're doing your research.
Yep. You can reach out to us on Facebook and on Twitter. All of our social media information is down in the description box of this episode. Also, check out Trisha's blog, journeythroughthegenerations.com. Like and subscribe to our podcast. And we'll be back real soon with another episode.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, man. Y'all take care.